all right, everybody. It's JJ Conway. I'm so excited to be back with y'all. Oh, the summer travel was definitely a lot of fun, a little bit bittersweet, and I'll tell you all about that in a second. But right now, I just want to make sure everybody knows what we're doing here tonight. We are going to be doing our every second Thursday class. This is our 7-figure business building. These are the techniques that, if done correctly, will propel you from 7-figure debt to 7-figure income. But it all starts with the basic building blocks, and that's what we teach you in the 7-figure business building. If you implement each of these streams of income, you will build a business and a life that will allow you to always be safe and secure. Honestly, we can't trust in riches. We can't trust in the economy. We can't trust in anything but the Lord above. Sometimes we can't even trust in ourselves, y'all. But one thing we can trust in is that we have been equipped with skill sets so that I can be confident and you can be confident that our families will never go hungry again. You implement these strategies, you will not have to worry about money again. You might be called to a season of lack, but you won't be called to a season of worry. You won't be called to a season of stress because you'll know what to do. And you'll know that you'll know the difference between hard times because of life happening to you versus hard times because of being called to walk through a season of lack. And so I'm very excited about these lessons. I'm sure that didn't come out the best way. I somehow lost my good camera. So I'm thinking it's in my office because I've been gone all summer and I went to my office to teach Bible study and I came home without a camera. So we are hoping and trusting in God that there is a good camera there. And I am hoping and trusting in God that y'all can hear me all right and that you can see me okay. So I appreciate everybody who's watching after the fact. But if you're watching live, please, sir, please, ma'am, give me some hearts, some likes, some loves so I know that you can hear me. All right. We're going to go ahead and get into our training. We're not going to waste any time tonight. Let's go ahead and pull that back up. Today, we're going to be talking about how to make your first $1,000 as a speaker. That's right. We're going to be talking about how to make your first $1,000 as a speaker. Very near and dear in my heart because I've always been an entrepreneur, but making money, doing what I love to do, empowering other people's lives, speaking is the most fun money I have ever made. And I'm going to share with you today the ways that I got started in the business and what you can do to put another $1,000 in your pocket this month. All right. All right. So here's what we're going to talk about. This is the overview today. We're going to talk about something that a lot of unpaid and underpaid speakers miss. All right. It's the crucial and overlooked first step. We're going to talk about how to actually find engagements if you don't already have requests coming in. And then we're going to talk about how to market, how to prospect. Prospecting should be on there. We're going to talk about prospecting, and I'll tell you the difference between prospecting and marketing as well. We're going to talk about pay to play. Oh, yes, we are. Y'all, people think that pay to play is a scam, and most of the time, guess what? It is. You get all jealous of this person and that person because you see them online. Oh, I got selected for this event, and I got selected for that event. And really what they did is they paid into that event. And I'm not knocking pay to play if that's where you got to go, but don't let other people's pay to play make you feel bad. We're going to talk about how to spot a pay to play scam, and we're going to talk about how to know when they're worth your while. Y'all stay tuned. Stay tuned. It's going to be good. All right. All right. We're going to talk about the secret to speaking engagements. It's a very in the professional speaker realm. Everybody knows this, but for some reason, nobody seems to know it when they're being enticed to buy into another speaker program. All right. We're going to talk about what not to do. And then I'm going to give you an opportunity. Y'all know how I do. You know, I like to give you an opportunity to dig deeper and learn more. And that's what we're going to do at the end. And so if you want to save $400 on a unique opportunity that's just one-on-one between me and you want to stay on to the end. Now, look, if you're watching the replay, you could just fast forward, but then you'd miss all the juicy goodness in the middle. So, all right. Let me get the slides back. All right, so let me just make sure we're all clear on what I'm not covering today, okay? And if you've got questions, don't wait for me to ask for questions or have a break. Go ahead and drop them in the chat. Now, I'm probably going to finish my sentence before I get to your question. You know, if I'm in the middle of a juicy story, I might go ahead and finish the story before I get to your question, but I will get to your question, all right? So I want to make sure we are super clear on what I'm not covering today. Okay, you can go out there and Google structure of your keynote. You can find all kinds of information on what you need to put where, and it's all, and in my opinion, now this is my opinion, and opinions are like noses. Everybody's got one, but in my opinion, I don't want to take time to give you a way, because I can teach you how I do it. I can teach you how they do it, but it's a way. It's not the way. All right. And so for me, I'd rather pull how to do your keynote, how to structure it, what to pepper in, and all those things. I'd rather pull that into a special intensive that's just me and you, so we can really make sure that it works for you. How many of you have bought $5,000? $10,000 into a program, and you think that you're going to get customized products, you're going to walk away with a plan that's good for you, and you find out it's just cookie cutter. And because cookie cutter doesn't work for the vibrant, unique individual that you are, you find that you can't use that very well, or they expect you to do the adaptation. Well, I understand that that's how a lot of those things work, so I want to make sure that we have the opportunity to work into your situation, your health needs, your family situation, your work schedule, what you can do and what you can't do. Okay, don't tell me I gotta wake up 2 hours earlier every day to build my dream, because I'm already waking up 2 hours early every day to build my dream. Now you might tell me to stop playing on the township game, but the Lord's dealing with me on that, y'all. I haven't played that game I haven't played that game all day. Okay, but I'm not going to speak to that today, because structuring your keynote, how to sell from the back of the room, the way that you will best leverage social media, all of those things are dependent on you. And so if you have had, let me say that again into the camera. I hate that I'm making this great point with my built-in run-of-the-mill camera, but I'm going to make sure I say this. If you have been trying everybody else's program and you finished the program, you done spent $5, $10, sometimes $20,000, and you still feel like you cannot get on stage and make money, you need to sit down with me for a one-on-one intensive. A lot of times what we can do is take the materials you've already paid for and that you have already been working with, and we can tweak them to match you, instead of feeling like it's a cookie cutter thing. Because a lot of us beat our head against the wall, like, why won't this work for me when it appears to be working for everybody else? Now, I already told y'all about this pay to play. I already told you that a lot of what appears to be working by everybody else ain't actually working. They paying to get that collateral. They're paying to get those speaking opportunities. And I'm not saying you don't ever do that. I still do that when certain circumstances are right. But I am saying you can't allow that to sway you. But if you build the building blocks of your business the way I'm going to teach you to do it today, you're going to always find a way to use your speaking gift, to use the story that you've been hiding inside, to use the experiences of your life that you rose up and overcame. You're going to find a way to take all of that and make money. Making money, helping people. Oh, I like the sound of that. So I said all that to say we're not going to cover that today. That's a personal thing to me. All right. And so if you failed at everywhere else's program, it may not be your fault. It may be that they didn't teach you how to do it for you. All right. All right. So that's what I'm not covering today. But if you are interested, there's a sneak peek. You can go out there right now and you can go ahead and book it before they all get booked up. All right. But let's talk about this crucial first step. This crucial first step is about knowing who you are and why you are doing this. Oh my goodness, y'all, it gives me I don't even know how to put it into words. I used to get real upset, and now I just laugh at people. Now I'm nice. I'm nice to you to your face, but in my head, I am laughing when you do this. I don't laugh at people a whole lot because I know people come from different situations. But when you do this thing I'm about to talk to you about, I guarantee you, inside my heart and inside my head, I am laughing at you because you ain't never going to succeed on one of my stages. And let me tell you what the problem is. When I ask a speaker, I'm interviewing a speaker, I'm evaluating whether or not a speaker is going to be good for fit for my stage. And I ask him or her, I ask them, what is the reason you're speaking? Why do you want a speaking career? Why do you like to speak? What do you want to get out of speaking? If they tell me they're in it for the money because they saw somebody speak and that looked like a real easy thing to do, that may be the truth. And I'm going to appreciate your honesty. I sure am. But I'm going to tell you something else. That's what got me into speaking at first. I said, oh, this is easy money. But speaking isn't easy money. Speaking is easy. Speaking for profit takes work, it takes effort, it takes practice, and then it becomes easy. And so if all you want to do is stand up on stage and pontificate and then expect people to buy stuff, I already know you're not going to be successful. Because I'm building wealth that changes lives. And the people that are attracted to my events, they are doing something with their life. They are called to a higher purpose. They are called to make a difference in their community. And the last thing they want to do is listen to somebody. And even more importantly for you as a speaker, buy from somebody who is just in it to line their pockets. Now, you might work on somebody else's stage, but you're not going to work on my stage. And that's okay. So it's important to know who you are and why you're doing this. You want to understand and you really want to evaluate it. You want to take some time to think about, why do you want to speak? Who is it that you want to serve with your speaking? What motivated you to speak? How will the audience benefit from what you have to say? And you know what? I just realized I forgot to put this in my talk. I'm going to go ahead and add this into my slides because it should be under what not to do. And I just realized I think I hid that slide because I was changing the slide format. Give me just a second and make sure that it's in here. Okay. It's in here. Is it in here? Oops, hold on. Let me put the slide back on there. Okay. It's nothing like watching somebody else try to, oh, yeah. Okay. That's, let's see. There's one more I need to put in here. Okay. This is good stuff, y'all. This is gold. I'm giving you something that people have paid thousands of dollars to figure out. So just give me a second to make sure I put it in here, because again, I rebuilt these slides for today. The last time I taught this was about 4 or 5 years ago. And so I have new resources for you, but I want to make sure y'all have completeness. Oh, this is gold. Oh, I can't wait till we get to that slide, y'all. I'm not even going to tell you which slide I just added in, but it's going to be good. Okay, where are we at? We are on the first. Okay, we got to... Thank y'all for your patience. All right. So we want to understand, why are we speaking? Why are we doing this? We want to understand why we're doing this. And like I said earlier, it can't just be about, I want to get paid. I want to get paid is an absolutely amazing motivator for most of what we want to do in our life. So I'm not knocking you if that's where it starts, but it can't stay there. That's where you started, but that doesn't need to be where it ends. Okay. That's where it started, but that's not going to make you the big bucks. The big bucks is about having a why. And if you're still kind of out there not sure what your big why is, why you're doing this, who you really serve, I encourage you to go out there and get my Purpose, Vision, Goals workshop. In fact, no, I'm not going to try and do it now, but you can go on my YouTube channel. It was one of the replays that I did while I was on my big, long family trip this summer. Okay. You really want to hone down what it is that you want to do and why do you want to do this? Who are you going to serve? And this is the big question here. How will an audience benefit from what you have to say? Oh my goodness. How many speakers still don't know what the audience is going to get out of listening to them for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, an hour? If I come and bring my workshop to you, I need to be able to clearly define what it is you're going to get out of it. And I'm saying this as somebody who didn't do that in the beginning. I just thought I was amazing, and you're just going to want to listen to me because I have such great things to say. Oh, we're going to talk about that a little bit later, because that is not the way to make good money in the speaking business. But a lot of times I finally figured this out after some of the big name speaking engagements. So speaking at the Power Networking Conference, speaking at FinCon, speaking at the John Maxwell International Maxwell Certification Conference several times, like all these bigger name things. You always have to tell the conference planners what the audience will take away. And after a while, it finally clicked. You know what? It doesn't matter what I want to say. What matters is what the audience wants to hear. Okay. So you want to be very clear on what is the audience getting. Okay, we got to remember the number one priority of a conference planner is to look good for having planned the conference. And so if you find out what the conference planner is trying to evoke with that audience, and find out what the goals are of that conference, and you meet those needs, now you're elevating yourself to the level of a professional speaker. All right. You want to make sure you understand how that audience is benefiting from what it is that you want to say. Okay. Now, once you have covered the first step, the next thing to do is to find places to speak. Now, this is going to be a little interesting. Hold on. Let me get this on me. Now, this is going to be a little interesting because a lot of times people do not like my first step. Okay. Now, if you have already been speaking, you speak at your work often, you speak in a volunteer capacity, you are comfortable in front of an audience, you know how you show up in front of an audience, and you know how to evoke the right emotions from your audience to match what it is that they are needing in the moment and the purpose of your talk, then you may not need my first step. But I'm going to tell you why a lot of people don't like my first step is because it's mostly free. And nobody comes to a class on how to make your first $1,000 speaking without expecting to make money. And so let me say that a different way. Nobody comes to a class on how to make your first $1,000 as a speaker without expecting me to teach them how to speak. They didn't come to this class, and you may not have come to this class to learn how to find free speaking engagements. All right. But let me tell you why you want to have free speaking engagements. You want to have free speaking engagements because it gives you exposure to greater audiences. It gives you much greater exposure than just the paid audiences you might be at. It allows you to practice your content and hone your craft. And sometimes speaking in front of a free audience can give you crucial feedback that will allow you to succeed. So when I was retiring from the military, I joined my local National Speaker Association, and they had, because it was the pandemic, they had virtual meetings, and there were so many speakers, professional speakers who were pulling in 7 figures and more in their businesses, full-time speakers. And there were so many of them who thought I should capitalize on being the first Black physicist in the military, and thought I should capitalize on all the shenanigans that I talk about being told Blacks can't do physics, about being told, if you stop coming to my office, I'll stop giving you the wrong answers, like all those kinds of struggles that came with being the first, right? And so that's where I built my civilian speaking business around. And I already had a couple other keynotes on technical leadership and some other things, but nobody was buying leadership from me, and they were buying leadership from all these other big name speakers who all discounted their prices because of the pandemic. So I took the advice of these gentlemen, and it was very profitable advice. However, fast forward 3 years later, and I've given an opportunity to speak in front of a group of association executives, and I found out real quick that people who do not resonate with that kind of a story are not paying me to come tell that story in front of their audiences. And so I had to accept that feedback, but I never would have had that feedback if I hadn't taken the free speaking engagement in the first place. The nature of everybody's, oh, we care had already fizzled, and I had failed to notice. And so sometimes taking on a free engagement is a good thing to tweak your business, to know when you need to tweak your business. And it's also, let me say this again. It's a good to know when to tweak your business, and it's a good way to gauge whether or not your content is still relevant to the audience at hand. Another really great thing about free speaking engagements, let me tell you what I use free speaking engagements for the most. I use them to test out new content. I mean, that's kind of what I do with these videos, because these videos are free, right? Like, I test out a lot of new content on these videos. I test out a lot of new content, and I see what resonates. I see what gets shares. I see what gets likes. I see what gets forwarded. I see what people sign up for when I create a new class. Do they sign up for it? Is it something they want, or is it a dud? I test the market, and I don't have to pay anything. I don't have to spend a whole lot of market research. I've already got my test done for free. And I like free 99 unless you are making enough money to cover the marketing and other expenses that you might lay out for a business. Remember, y'all, I want you to live your dream, and I want you to take a chance on you as well. I want you to take risks and dream big. Yet at the same time, I'm a financial planner, and I don't want you going into debt to do this thing. I want you meeting yourself where you are and pushing yourself forward, not digging a grave going backward because you didn't test out the market and somebody convinced you to drop $25,000 on your credit card for this product mapping plan that doesn't do a thing for you. I want you to be able to actually test out your speaking, and one of the ways you do that is through local groups and free opportunities. Now, if you want my list of 30 plus places to get out of the house and onto the stage, you can go out to jjclink.com/30speak. It's going to be a Google form that takes you, you fill out the information, and then it takes you to a screen that gives you the link where you can download the 30 places that you can speak that will not charge you, and they are always looking for speakers. The Rotary Club is always looking for speakers. Many chambers, not my local chamber where I live now, but many chambers in other markets are always looking for speakers, okay? So that's where I want people to start if they don't have experience yet speaking in front of a crowd. Now, the good thing about these is you may not be able to sell from a free event sometimes, and sometimes you can if you ask, but they will give you they will put you in front of people who have the opportunity to hire you. Okay, so you want to maximize those opportunities. The next thing we're going to talk about is prospecting and marketing. So there's two types of behaviors that we need to do to get speaking gigs or engagements. Okay. You rarely find professionals calling them gigs. Usually professionals call them engagements. I use the term gigs because that's what everybody's using, right? In the audience that I'm going towards. But professionally, a lot of people say speaking engagement. Okay. Speaking opportunity. All right. So there's two behavior patterns that we're going to do. All right. And one of those behavior patterns is prospecting, where we are going out looking. And I'm going to give you some resources for that. Then the other one is marketing. We put the marketing out there and people call us. So one is us going out to them, and the other one is them coming to us. You want to have that. They're like two sides of the same coin. All right. Ooh, where's my round to it? I don't even have it, but I have this handy dandy Air Force coin. Well, no, this is Maxwell Leadership. Okay. They're two sides of the same coin. Prospecting and marketing, prospecting and marketing, prospecting and marketing, prospecting and marketing. You want both in your business. You want to seek out opportunities and you want to get people calling you, emailing you, filling out your booking form. All right. All right. So, we're going to talk about these things, and you're going to love this secret best place one year. No, you're not going to love it because you're going to be so surprised. It's not what you think. Okay. So prospecting, like I said, prospecting is where you go out and you find places to speak. And so there's different ways to prospect. You can go out to a speaking database such as SpeakerMatch, which if we have time at the end and we have interest at the end, I'll actually log into my account and show you how it works. Okay. SpeakerMatch has a job board. In this job board, they are people they are conference planners who are looking for speakers. Now, I will say, I have never, wait, how do I want to say that? I've never got a job from SpeakerMatch that paid me more than $1,000, but I have made thousands of dollars through SpeakerMatch. Okay. So I want to make sure we set that expectation, but I think the average, I mean, they have some that go higher for people who are big names, but when you're starting out and you apply for a job on SpeakerMatch, you can look to make anywhere from nothing if it's a free one. Most of the ones I post, y'all, they are no charge, and I get tons of speakers who are interested. So, people are out there using it, and make sure you're adding it to your toolkit. But you can make anywhere from about 25 all the way up to $1,000. They might advertise 2,500. Sometimes I see ones out there that are 5,000, but personally, I have not received those. And I think some of that's because they're really looking to spread that around. Okay. If that makes sense. Another neat one is PitchDB. And this is one where they haven't posted the jobs, but you get access to search for conferences, podcasts, all those kinds of things where people use speakers. So SpeakerMatch you want in your toolkit because those are people that are looking for speakers. We need a speaker for this conference on this date talking about this stuff. All right. Then the next one, PitchDB, when you don't have enough of these to apply to, you can go to something like PitchDB and you can look for more to apply to. Okay. And so that way you can find conferences and podcasts and things. You can also do the same with Google. Like if you are trying to build your business, you can go into Google and find out what events and things are going on wherever you're traveling to or where in your location or things like that. And maybe you missed the application deadline for this year, but you can put it on your calendar for next year. And I'm going to tell y'all, look, this is a free tip. This is a free tip, y'all. One of the things that I have been able to do almost everywhere that I have traveled is I have been able to have a back pocket talk ready to go, whatever event that I've gone to. And I have made sure that the conference planners, the organizers, and whoever is the right person to tell, I have made sure that they know that I am available. If they need to slide me in because somebody else didn't show up, put me in, coach. I got you. All right. Not most, but a lot of my speaking engagements that I never otherwise would have had access to came from exactly that tactic. So Google is your friend. Confidence is your friend. Even if you don't feel confident, there's a phrase they say, fake it till you make it. I'm like, faith it till you make it. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things unseen. If I believe that I'm called to do this, and I believe that God has equipped me to change lives through the spoken word, God has called me to change lives through the written word. The Lord has called me to change life to teaching people how to get out of debt. If I really believe that, my faith should be substance that makes me move forward, even when I'm quaking in my booth. Faith is the substance, so faith it till you make it. All right. All right. Man, I'll tell you what, I'm having a good time. I hope you're enjoying watching this, whether you're watching live or whether you're watching after the fact. I hope you're having a good time. I'm having so much fun that I'm kind of bummed that I got home just in time to get on and didn't have time to doll myself up and even change out of my, it's my company, change out of uniform. I'm like, man, this would have been a great trading to sell. I might still do that because I feel like the energy is good. But y'all, I hope you're enjoying learning some of these tactics, and they will really help you to find speaking engagements. Okay. On the other side of the coin is marketing. And marketing is where you're going to have products and enticement to get people to come to you. Well, a lot of times we think about marketing as we think about Google ads, or we think about business cards, which are kind of going out of fashion, but people still use them, postcards, flyers, what have you, right? But it's not all about those things, but all of those things can go into your marketing plan. One of the biggest things you want to make sure that you have is some kind of press kit. And when I say press kit, the press kit can be as simple as a folder on your Facebook profile that says press kit and has your headshot and a graphic of your one pager, a link, a copy of your sizzle reel. Like, you can put you don't even have to pay to have a website. I mean, you should after you make some money, right? But you don't even have to pay to have a website. If you're just getting started and you're broker and broke, right? Like, you so poor you can't afford the OR at the end, right? Like, you just get you a Facebook page and create you an album, and then in that album you put your headshot, you put your one sheet, you make, it's a PDF, but you make a picture of it, pop it in there, put a couple videos of you on stage, and look, if you don't have a stage to get on, create one. Look. Well, let me hold myself back because I'm going to talk about that in just a second. Okay. All right. Oh, it's so good, y'all. All right. But you want to make sure that you have something that when people are looking for speakers and they are interested in you, they've got a one-stop shop for everything they need. Now, the most crucial part of this is going to be a good headshot. Did I put that on this? Hold on. Is this the right slide? Let me check. Okay, you're going to want, no, I didn't even put headshot on there. Look, I can't even let that go out like that. Look, I'm going to have to edit that. That bothers me that I didn't even put that on there. It was on there, but I think when I changed the signs, I think I forgot to cut and paste. I didn't cut and paste properly. Okay. Marketing. Yeah, your marketing, you want to have your headshot. And it needs to be a good headshot. Okay. It needs to be a good headshot. Now, I'm going to show you, you see this headshot of me in the corner here? That's 4 years ago when I retired from the Air Force. Now, I done ate a few honey buns since then. So, I don't know that I still look like that, but I am losing the weight, so I'm not changing it, But for a while, I was like, after getting out of the military, let me show you. Let me see if I can drop down to that slide. Let me show you the slide that shows, okay. See that there? That's me at the height of my weight. I was like, what? Oh, wait, I didn't mean to show y'all the offer. Whoopsie. Well, y'all saw the picture anyway, so I guess it's okay. Let me go back to it. But this is me at the height of this is me at the height of my weight when I didn't realize I was losing weight. Okay. So, I didn't realize how much I'd put on. So you see quite a difference between these two pictures, right? Now you want to make sure that when you are so much for building anticipation and dropping it in slowly, right? Oh my goodness. Okay. You want to have an accurate headshot, okay? You don't want to have a picture of you 50 pounds ago or 10 years maybe, depending on your age, but you don't want to have a picture of you 50 years ago or, or 50 pounds ago. And when you show up on stage, now you don't match what the planners were expecting. And I know it's difficult because our culture is so fickle and people judge people based on their size, especially in the speaker realm. The speaker realm is very judgmental about size because, we won't talk about the reasons because that's another discussion, but they are. And I know there's lots of healthy women and curvy women and healthy men. And I don't even know what you call men with them big old bellies. I ain't healthy or curvy, but anyway, there's lots of healthy women, thick women, curvy women, beautiful women who do not fit the standard size zero portion of stereotype of beauty in this country. Okay. Who are making money with speaking. So don't let you feel like you can't still make money, but you want to make sure that what they see is what they get. If they see pictures of you as a size 4 before you had 5 kids and you show up as a size 24, that is going to upset the conference planners because they know their clientele and they're not just looking for what you have to say. They are also looking for someone who looks the part of the group. I hope I'm saying that in a delicate enough way. I'm just going to go back to my slides now. Look, wait, let me get something to drink and go back to my slides. But you know what I'm saying is true, whether you like it or not. And there's one thing nobody has ever accused me of is not telling them what they need to know when I tell them what they need to know. All right. So you're going to want to make sure you have your headshot. You want that headshot to be representative of you. You're also going to want to have a one sheet. Okay. You want to have a one sheet. Now, I'll be honest with you. I don't use the one sheet much anymore. I haven't had anybody ask me for my one sheet in a while. Okay. I'm going to pull up mine so I can show it to you if I can find it. Okay. Yeah, there it is. It's another PowerPoint. It's on PowerPoint. Okay. And I honestly, wait, when did I make this? Okay. Let's see. Make that a presentation. Hold on. Let's make that a presentation. Oh, my computer's complaining. You've got too many windows open. Oh, well. Okay. So let's stop this share. Stop screen and let me present this other one. Share screen and I'll show you my one sheet. Okay. All right. There's my one sheet. I still fit in that suit, so I keep using it. All right. This is my one sheet. What a one sheet. Wait, can you see it? Okay. Yeah. What a one sheet does for you is it does for anybody is it tells the conference planner very quickly who you are and how you help them look good planning the conference. All right. So it tells you who I am. It tells you my website. Here in the boxes, you see the big buckets of what I talk about. You see the queen of cash flow. You see a little bit about me. And at the bottom here, you see some places where I have spoken. Now, I have spoken at many, many more places. All right. I've spoken at many, many more places, but those are just the big hitters that I put on there so that I could not have too cluttered of a thing. All right. So this is a one sheet here. Again, you can get some that are more fancy. I don't have anybody ask me for it. I send it, but you know what people really like? Here's what people really like. I'm going to say as I bring up the other screen, what people really like is the video. Like you can look good and have all the pictures and stuff, but what they really want to see, is how you appear on stage. And I don't want you to be offended at this, okay? I'm the first person to admit that the way I come across on these videos is not how I show up in public. First of all, you're just looking at me from the chest up. You're not seeing the big belly. So, and the big hips, right? So you're just seeing from the chest up and you see how much I work out and you might think I look at different ways. And again, we don't care. You and I are enlightened individuals who are tolerant and we don't judge people on the basis of their look, but the rest of the world is a whole different story. All right. So I understand that a lot of times, sometimes, I won't say a lot of times, but sometimes we don't show up on stage the way we do in other venues. And what the conference planner is looking for, unless they're looking for a virtual speaker, they're going to look for somebody who has that energy on stage, who makes it happen on stage, who has the audience having those aha moments or that or that those moments. Okay, that's what the conference planner is looking for, and the way they're going to be confident that you're doing that is going to be through your video. All right. So you are going to want your speaker one sheet to be done because it gives you clarity. And it's also another piece of marketing. You know, you can get some much nicer ones and then you hand them out as flyers. I just haven't done that myself, but I know it's something you're supposed to do. All right. What I have done is taken various things and done business cards or postcards. Okay. And so do I have any left? Nope. I used them all up at PNC. Okay. Well, I just stink at show and tell today. Oh, wait a second. I have some athletes ones. Okay. All right. I have my athlete ones. Let's go back to that. So, yeah, that's my athlete one. All right, but on the back of that, because I didn't know. Look, I had a big sport. I was one of the sponsors for SportsCon, and I didn't know which side they were going to see, so I made sure that it was double sided. But you know, something like this, is really a neat little way to advertise who you are and what you do. And in order to really create pieces like that, you're going to want to know that beforehand. You really want to distill down what it is you do and how you help people and things like that. Okay. All righty. So that's the business cards and the postcards. And in creating all of that, that's where ad copy comes in. Okay. And so I sat down with a wonderful mentor about 2-3 years ago, Jerry Foster, and he walked me through how to really distill down who I serve and how to market to that person, how to market to that avatar. And what we ended up doing is creating what we called, I think he calls it the master brand thing. Now, there are a lot of other people out there that do this. I'm just telling you who I worked with, okay? And from that long article that we created together, that's where I pull a lot of my marketing snippets. So if I need a couple of bullet points, I've got them as the paragraph topics of each paragraph. And I pull that paragraph topic, that topic, boom, got a short list. If I need this, if I need that, for whatever application I'm using, I can go in and pull from that ad copy. So some of you already have access to other resources. You have access to other ways of generating that copy, okay? But you're going to want to have some written copy that you can use to market yourself and memorize your points. The other thing that you're going to want to have, and this goes under one sheet and business cards and postcards, I just had it here and forgot to share it with you, is you're going to want to have something to advertise yourself with. So for example, this is Speakers Magazine. It's done by Pam Perry. All right. I've been twice now, her Juneteenth cover girl. All right. And in here, you'll see each of the speakers has a page. Well, you know what I've done with my page and in this and other editions of this booklet? I have taken that page and that she designed, her team designed. Where's my new one? The new one's fabulous. This was fierce, y'all. But the new one is like mind blowing. Like every year she steps up her game. Pam Perry. All right. So I've taken what they put together and I've used that in my marketing. So I'm saying all of this to say, don't be afraid to work with a professional, but hear my heart on this. I am not like every other person that's out there telling you to spend money you don't have. I am a financial planner who is called to equip God's people. And I believe that one of the ways that I can help equip God's people is to help you spend less than you make. And if you're not making it, please don't spend it. But let's follow these strategies and it won't be very long before you're making that and more. All right. All right. So you want to have a kit. And again, you can put all of this in a Facebook. You can put your headshot. You can put your one sheet. You can put a copy of a business card. You can put copies of the different postcards like what I just showed you. You can put if you've got magazines, you can put photos of you holding up your magazine. When you're on the cover of Speakers Magazine, you get this big foam board printout. That's huge for marketing. People love it. I have pictures, y'all. I have pictures of people posing with this one and my one from this year. It's a big, huge foam board. People took pictures at my conferences posing with the foam board, and I'm like, you know what? I would too. That's a real good picture. And I mean, it's one of those things where like you don't even realize. You don't even realize how much impact that you can have with your voice. You don't even realize how many lives that you're changing. You don't even realize sometimes how amazing it's going to be when you're able to take these experiences and your trials and tribulations and your successes and your vision and turn it into something that changes lives. And you're bringing others along for the ride through things that speak to them, through media that speaks to them. So don't be afraid to bring professionals in to help you tell your story. All right. All right. Oh, this is fun. Okay. So we want those things. Okay. Oh, wait, let me say one more thing on this. You know what? I should have told her I was going to do this. I might send her the link and she can extract it for her testimonials or something. But again, I can't look, y'all. We had a really long board of adjustment meeting. It was, I love serving the city of Stephenville, but I did not get a chance to doll up. And so I'm like, man, of all the times to not be my most gorgeousness self, right? But they interviewed me for this, and one of her staff members wrote this. So that's another way to get ad copy, okay, for your business. And it's already included in the price there. All right. Okay, I think we've talked about the press kit a lot, okay? So the next thing of interviewing that I want to talk about is I want to talk about interviewing as a way of generating interest in what you're doing. Now, look, let's be real. If the news channel would let every speaker in the world get up and talk about, hey, I'm an amazing speaker, come on and book me for your events, you know what? First of all, our news would be cluttered. And second of all, you wouldn't even need me to talk about it because you'd already be doing it. So I'm going to tell you up front, you're not going to get the news to put you on the news just because you're doing something wonderful in the speaking realm, or because you want to do something wonderful in the speaking realm, or because you have an amazing story that you're telling. I thought I had an amazing, unique story, $800-something in debt, and was able to get that cleaned up, divorce debt after the military, but then guess what I found out? There are a lot of military people that have six-figure debt, almost $1 million of debt. Not 90%, but a lot of military people come home from their military trips and find out that their spouse took advantage of that power of attorney and run up all their bills and run up credit in their name and buy houses and cars and all kinds of things in their name and then slap them with divorce papers when they get home. All right. Not unique. Okay. However, you can find a way to leverage other things that are of interest to the news channels, and you can take that leverage and use that to slide in information about your speaking, or you can use that to leverage in how you were seen on XYZ channel, or how you're going to be on not ABC, I shouldn't use that, on QRS channel, okay? You can use that to leverage. Same with the radio, on TV, and other things. Now, with podcasting, there are a lot of podcasters out there that need guests. There's some great resources that I have. You can send a text down there to that number, and I will send you. Now, listen, I'm not going to send you that tonight. My husband is waiting on me to finish this class and come hang out with him for a little bit because he ain't seen me all day, and I'm going on another 2 weeks worth of trips tomorrow. So it won't be today, right? But it will be tomorrow, or it will be Saturday. Okay. I will text you my get interviewed list of places that will interview you for free. So you're giving you all kinds of freebies in this one. Now, the one on where to find speaking engagements, that's automatic. That'll be right on the next screen once you put your information in. Okay. But the other one on the get interviewed list of places that will interview you for free, that's one that I send you, okay? Because I'm transitioning systems and I built this one later than that one, and that one was already hanging out there. We're getting there, y'all. We're getting there. But there are a lot of ways that you can get interviewed. But again, you got to make it about whatever the interviewer is looking for. And they aren't looking for you to just talk about how amazing you are. They're looking for something that really speaks to their audience. And they're looking for you to deliver some wonderful content to their audience. And you want to make sure, okay, this is going to be hard to say, and it's going to be hard to hear, okay? You can't pay rent with exposures. So you can't just say, I'm going to get on this thing and I'm going to pay this $10,000 to be on this podcast and I'm going to get so much exposure. Well, if ain't none of those people hiring speakers, you just wasted $10,000 unless you've got something else to market, a course or a book or something that those people will buy. If you're only there to market speaking, you need to make sure that whatever you're on is going to be a venue for you to reach people that hire speakers, or that it's a venue you can use to get the video and the photos that you need. So, for example, there have been many times where I have gone on the news to talk about blah, 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 blah over here. Okay, back when I lived where I could drive to the local news station in half an hour, I'd go talk about blah 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 over here. But when I take the picture of it and I post it on the Facebook or in the wherever else I post it, you don't know that I'm talking about blah 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 blah. It looks like I'm talking about whatever I talk about. You don't know what I'm talking about, but I leveraged the opportunity. And so I want to make sure that you are able to leverage those opportunities. Okay. Now I put create your own on here because I have found as a professional speaker that one of the best ways to activate the speaker secret I'm going to share with you in a few slides is to connect with other speakers. And so by interviewing other people and creating my own opportunities to interview other people, I actually open up more opportunities for myself. Let me say that again. By creating these opportunities for me to interview other people, especially speakers, I also open myself up to other opportunities that will benefit me. And that's going to play into the speaker secret. Y'all, it's going to be so good. All right. Now, one of the things a lot of speakers you'll note will have is that a lot of speakers will have a book or there'll be an anthology chapter in somebody else's book. Okay, so an anthology is a collection of writings. And so you usually have an editor and they collect writings together. So, you have different, where's Healing My Sisters? I forgot to order new ones. Well, that stinks. Okay. So I do a couple of anthologies every year, and I participate in a couple of anthologies every year. Now, if you want more information about actually writing a book, if you want more information about writing a book or being a part of an anthology that someone else is putting together, like writing a chapter in their anthology, then you can go out to my YouTube channel because I think last month's class was about writing. I can't remember, but last month's class wasn't about writing because I was probably in the mountains with my son. Whatever it was that we were teaching, one of the most recent classes I taught in spring was on writing. So you can go out to the YouTube channel and you can find that free class, and it'll lead you to a different class, but you can find the free class. All right. So if you have a book already, you can set up a book signing. Now you say, well, JJ, if I'm trying to speak, why would I set up a book signing? Well, for one, a lot of people have a ton of books sitting around their basement. They need to get them sold anyway. So you might as well do it. Sell them at a discount and get them things out of your house, right? But the other thing you can do is you can speak at your own book signing. See, people forget that book signing isn't just about the book. Okay. Let me see if I can find this for you. I want to show you exactly what I'm talking about. And I thought I pulled this up. Let me see if I can find it. Give me a second. So I want to show you a picture of the first time that I did this. I didn't even think it was going to work, but I just had to do something. I felt like my business was stuck in a rut. And so I felt like I had to do something. I don't see the pictures of it, but I at least see the Facebook post about it. So I'm going to share that with you real quick. Hang on. Let me go back to StreamYard. Where are you? Oh, there we are. Okay, let me stop that share. Stop sharing. And let me share this other one. Share window. There we go. All right, so what this is, what you're seeing here, this is the Facebook post that I made of an event that I put together. Okay, so I put this event together. Can I make this bigger? How can we make this bigger so y'all could see it better? Let's see. Can I just get rid of this? Okay, no, I can't because it's the search results. Okay, so I put together this program. This was the very first Healing My Sisters book. It's still the one that sells the most, despite the other ones that we've made, the other anthologies we made. This is the one that sells the most today. Okay, but I love it. So I put together a domestic violence rally. I don't even remember what we called it. Okay. I don't even remember what we call it. We just called it event. Look at this, y'all. We just called it event. I didn't even call it something cool. We just called it an event. I found the local group that helps people who survive domestic violence. I told them we would give them a certain percentage of the proceeds from the event. They came and brought their literature. Other organizations like the YMCA, the WMCA came. Wait, the YWCA, the YMCA, but for women. That they anyway, all these other helping agencies came, and then we set up a certain time where I spoke and other people spoke. Then you say, well, how does this make me money as a speaker? When I moved to Shreveport, Louisiana, didn't nobody know who JJ Conway was. But after a series of doing events like this, people began to know who I was. Did that put $1,000 in my pocket the next day? This one actually did, because we sold the book. Unfortunately for me, that wasn't my money, because that all 100% of the proceeds of the sale gets donated to agencies that help. And in this case, half of that money went to Project Celebration that year. Okay, every year we pick somebody else to get half that money, but the rest of it goes to like the National Support Hotline and things like that. Okay, so this is something you can do to put together an event. And I didn't have books to sell yet, because we were launching it and the books hadn't gotten there yet. But you see that I had my other books. You see that I had my other books over here in the far right corner. I had my other books there for sale. So I made a little bit of money. Other times, you can come up and do other things. Let's see if I can find it. No, I'm not going to find it. That's good enough for now. Oops, not guests. Oops, wrong one. I need share. And so once I saw that worked, y'all, I kept rinsing and repeating, whether it was domestic violence, March is Women's History Month. I mean, you basically fill in the blank with whatever is going to work. Okay, you fill in the blank with whatever's going to work, and then you build a program. Okay, this is the important thing. You might be doing a book signing, but you're building a program around the book signing that gets you the opportunity to speak. And you put yourself up a stand and a microphone, and you go to town. And it doesn't even matter if it's just you get somebody professional to come on in there and take some pictures. Look, get your cousin. You can't afford somebody who's professional. Go get your cousin who's always talking about she want to be a photographer. Get her to come on in there and take some pictures. She'll get some good, she'll get something for her portfolio, and you'll get some good marketing collateral. All right. Let me pull up another one for you. Let me pull up another one for you. It's, oh, yes. Okay, let's stop that share and let's go to this screen. All right. So this was an amazing event. Okay. This was an amazing event. Let me see what happens when I click this link. Okay. I don't want to, oh, it's still there. Okay. This was our New Year's Eve 2019 New Year's Eve single success conference cruise. Okay. So that's one of those things that I say a lot. Okay, let me make that bigger so y'all can see it. One of the things I say a lot: if you can't get on a stage, create your own stage. Okay. I knew I wanted to have a cruise conference because it seemed like that was the big rave back then. Little did I know that we were going to, that people were going to be leading into COVID. Praise God we didn't get COVID on this boat, but that was the time that COVID was breaking out and nobody knew it, right? But I decided to put this together, and then one after another, when it was time to get on the boat, the speakers started backing out, and I made a crucial mistake on that, where the fee for speaking, you got the money for your cabin, right? So your cruise was free. But what I realized is I hadn't forced people to make their reservation, because I didn't pay for it till after the fact, right? Like, I wasn't going to pay for your room till you were on that boat, and then I was going to cut you your check. Okay. but what I didn't do is I didn't make people book their cabin before accepting and approving their speaker thing. So if you're in a speaker database like eSpeaker, oh, that's the other one I was going to put on there, but that's a little advanced though. eSpeakers or SpeakerMatch or anything like that, it tracks when you got accepted for a job. So a lot of times what was happening with this is a lot of people got accepted, but then they backed out at the last minute. So in this event, I ended up with just 4 speakers, me, a couple named Ron and Marty, who were amazing. They talked about relationship red flags. And then I was like, boy, you gonna speak. I put my son in there. It says, I don't know if y'all can read that. What single parents need to know. I was like, I'm gonna have at least 3 bubbles on this poster, right? And so at first I was like, this is not gonna work. This is not gonna work at all, right? Y'all, it really did work out. And in fact, we had such a good time on this cruise. We had different we had different rooms that we were able to speak from. In other words, the staff told us the wrong thing. So we had one room and then we moved to the next room, but it looked like we had all these different things. And what is that? Okay. Oh, that's funny. Okay, let's go ahead and get out of that. But we came away with such good video and such good photos. You had no idea that there was like 10 of us in the room, maybe even 7 of us in the room. I know the first series that we did, the only people in the room were us and the speakers. And so I was like, hey, we're going to make it work. And you say, well, who's going to do that? Who's going to do that to get speaking? But if you don't have any speaker collateral, I'm not saying take a $1,000 cruise, but go somewhere that's got a microphone and a podium, or a lectern. It's not really a podium, but go somewhere that's got a microphone and get some photos of you. Go get a microphone. You can get the kind of going to the karaoke thing for $10 at Walmart. Go get you that thing and go downtown and go to a pretty hotel and just take some pictures of you holding the mic. Okay? You can do things like that to build your collateral without having to break the bank. That sounds like a title. That sounds like a class title. Build your collateral without breaking the bank. Well, that might be a little too long on the tongue there, but well, that didn't come out right. But you know what I mean. Okay. So that's why things like book signings and other things can really be good. What I like about book signings, if you create an event with the local community, then you get them involved and you get them speaking. You might even have some other authors come in. I used to do that too. I would have author expos, but again, there would always be a microphone. There would always be a photographer. And that's how I got my start. Okay. People, y'all, don't sleep on this. People paid me to be in the showcase or the expo, and I took their money and put it in my pocket and fed my children with that money. Actually, it was just one child back then. Okay. But don't sleep on this. When you are just starting, some of these things can make you a lot of money and propel your speaking career. Okay. Now you already pulling in $10,000-$20,000 a month in your speaking career. This is not for you. And I'm cool with that. I get it. All right. I was at Ramsey Solutions 2 weeks ago, and I was like, man, by now I should have hit 7 figures by now. I don't know. I've got to get some new coaching to figure out what's going on here. No, don't y'all apply. Ask me to come your coaching program. I already got my coach that I just signed up with. So do it. All right. There's not an invitation to spam my inbox, but I was just like, man, I should be here, and I'm here. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm doing all right. I'm doing well by most people's standards. I'm doing all right, but I want more. I feel the Lord has called me to more. But if you go a month and you didn't make any money in your speaking environment, if you went 2 months, if you've been working at this thing since January 2024, when you put it on your New Year's resolution and you ain't made but $300, try this. Try it. Just pick a date next month, set it up, and watch and see if you don't make some money. You get other people to pay in, you find books that you can sell. And guess what? I even got a solution for you if you don't have a book, but do something. Get out of the house and onto the stage and put some money in your pocket. Don't let the failed dream here and the failed opportunity there make you feel like you aren't called to change the world with your voice. You are absolutely called to change the world. You know how I know? Because only people who are called to change the world are on my channel. And only people who are called to change the world watch for this long. Okay. Now, if you don't already have a book, that's okay. That's okay. I got some solutions for you. Okay. You might consider doing what we call a book reading. And everything I said about book signings applies to book readings, except you don't have the book and you're not selling somebody else's book unless they gave you permission. And you know what? I'm going to tell you, don't sleep on that either, because I have had a lot of authors give me their content or their books as a donation to my cause, as a donation or it's not a donation because it's not tax deductible, but as in support of what I'm doing. And I'm authorized to just sell them, give them away, do what I want to do with those books. Okay. So don't sleep on that. Again, if you're not making money, this is a way to put money in your pocket. You could set something up a couple days from now and you could have money in your pocket by this time next week. You sure could. All right. So if you don't have the book, or even if you do have a book, you want to make sure that you have promo items. You want to make sure if you're doing somebody else's book that you invite them. Again, when I have invited people, they have literally brought boxes of books and left them with me. I have invited I've invited authors who then let me interview them at no charge, or who have spoken at my events at no charge. Like it's amazing how much good you can do when you don't, this is one of Marshall's quotes, I think. It's amazing the amount of good you can do when you don't care who gets the credit, right? But a lot of these people just want their voice to be heard, and their voice is in that book. And if you're helping get that book out to the world, they're going to help you do it. All right. But while you got the audience there, and while you've got the authors there, while you've got additional speakers there, that's when you can highlight yourself. So you can highlight your speaking. If you are open to leading masterminds or teaching trainings like this, that's when you would promote yourself. Okay. That's how you do it when you can't find a way to do it. And sometimes you really got to be creative. When I was in Northern Virginia, the library had wonderful facilities that I could go in and teach classes, but you couldn't talk about finance and you couldn't talk about religion. Now, way I was able to get around that was spin it on a way that worked for the community. So I wasn't talking about how to build wealth. I was talking about how to avoid scams. See the difference? So you find a way to do what you want to do. The phrase that I always remember when things get tough: if it's important to you, you will find a way. If it's not, you will find an excuse. We're not going to have any excuses today. I have given you so many ideas in so many ways that you can actually start getting paid in speaking, even if nobody knows who you are. This is how you get known. This is how you get money in your pocket. All right. So what happens if you don't have a book? Well, that's a very good question. I'm so glad you asked. If you don't have a book, I've got anthologies that I do. I've listed the 3 of them here that we do every year. I'll admit this year's been wonky, y'all. If you are watching me and you did not see a Juneteenth book come out this year, you are correct. It did not come out. I had to offer a big apology to my authors, and I was like, I bit off more than I could chew. I bit off more than I could chew with my son graduating, moving him cross country for school, all the other things that were going on, the little one's health and all these other things. It was too much, and I could not get it done with excellence. And so I decided to cut that part of the conference, the Juneteenth conference, and shift it to fall so that I could at least execute the conference with excellence. And I had to eat my words and give a real big apology to my speakers, but I also loaded them with some benefits to make it worth their while to wait for when the book does come out. But I'm telling you right now, anthologies can be a great way for you. Wait a second, those two thoughts really don't go well together. So I had to eat a little crow on that and acknowledge that I'm not Superwoman. And that's really difficult to do sometimes because you're so used to getting everything done. And we're here talking about how you can make money writing a book. We're not here talking about how I couldn't get it done this year. But But I do have several anthologies, and if you are wanting to be a part of Juneteenth Legacy, that's the one I'm working on now. And so we are actually going to skip the Women's Wealth book this year, and then in spring we'll kick back off the Call for Authors for Healing My Sisters, which will kick off in spring and publish in October. Okay, we're also not doing Healing My Sisters this year. It was just too much, and since I didn't kick it off because I was so busy with all the things with my son, because I didn't, both boys, I didn't kick it off. We decided to just punt. And you know what? It's okay. The other book still sells. I still make nice donations to domestic violence. Next year will be bigger and better. All right. But those are the ones that I have coming out. Now, if you search anthology or book project, you're going to find a lot of people, probably a ton of people you already know that are putting together anthologies. I would say watch out though, because what is this new trend that's going on with anthologies is people are charging very low prices. Like this is the first time I've ever charged as low as $49, $99 to be in the anthology, right? There's some anthology speakers that have spoken for free because they were, and some anthology authors were for free because we transcribed their talks and they were a speaker at an event. But I've never charged so little, but it's because a lot of these anthology projects, they're charging you like $35, $55, $100 to be in an anthology instead of $1,000 or $5,000. And then once you get in there and you've submitted your thing, they're like, oh, you want your picture? That's another $1,000. Oh, you want 2 copies of the book? That's another $1,000. Oh, you want to be in our speaker showcase? Well, that's another $1,000. Oh, you want to actually have and nickel and dime you to death, just like the old model, and they're counting on you salivating over the fact that you're going to be able to do all these things. And so you want to watch out for that. You know, what with me, what you see is what you get. And when I advertise what we're giving, I always make sure I actually give more than what I advertise. Okay. And so you want to be very careful and understand what you're getting into when you go into an anthology project. Also, with an anthology project, you are not the author of that book. Let me say that again. With an anthology project, you are not the author of that book. The editor is the author of that book. Now, I have options with mine because someone did that, and of course, I don't have it. So y'all know I'm moving into an office downtown, and so half my stuff is there and half of it's here. And I'm like, I'm not buying duplicates because I promised my husband I would get this stuff out of the house. You know, one of the things that I loved that the Women's Speakers Association did was they did an anthology, and I was quaking in my boots. This was like 5 years ago, and it was $1,600. It's way more than that now, y'all, let me tell you. But this was like the second time that they had done one. And so it was still kind of a new thing. But what I got with that project is I got a co-authored book. And I didn't even know that that was a thing. I didn't know that you could get those. And so it had my name on it and the main author's name on it. And so I actually offer that in my anthology projects as an upgrade where your name is on the front cover, not just a picture on the back. And so it does cost more to do it that way. That is an upgrade, but at least you know when you're signing up, you know what you're getting. So if you don't have a book, that's fine, or maybe this doesn't apply to you, but you can always be a part of my anthology or somebody else's. All right, let's talk about pay to play. A lot of times out there, you're going to find people go to this and they go to this and they go to that and they go to that. Is pay to play a scam? This is what you need to know. First of all, pay to play is what that means is I'm paying you for the right to speak on your stage. I myself, I have a combination of paid speakers at my events. I have emerging speakers at my events. I have comp speakers at my events. And a lot of times, the bulk of that event is funded through the speakers. So we all share in the cost and we all share in the profit. And I get a lot of speakers here and there to be like, oh, I don't pay to play. And I'm like, okay, you're not the one. It's okay. I'm okay with that because this is a crowd-funded effort. And we're making this work together and we're building this wealth together. And we're in it together. And on occasion, I will pay the keynotes because you want to have a big name to draw people in. But all of us speakers together, we're pitching in to cover the marketing and the keynote and all that. Most conferences are either considered a necessity, or they're considered a marketing, or they're, and then you've got the third kind where the people are putting the conference together are putting it together for profit. Okay. But a lot of the corporate conferences out there are not actually profitable. So you can't expect to get, $5,000 and $10,000 speaking engagements, and you haven't actually spoken on stages or have evidence of you speaking on stage, because you're not just spending somebody's speaker dollar, it's their marketing dollar. And they have to be able to attribute back to your talk how that your talk attracted people in, how that your talk impacted people, how that your talk motivated the audience, did whatever it was that they needed to do. They need to know they're going to get that return on their investment. And if they don't know that yet, one of the ways you show them is by having the videos and having the photos, more so having the videos. All right. And you get those by getting on stage. So you do the free avenues, and sometimes you do pay to play. Okay. But you want to make sure that you are getting what you paid for. One of the conference cruises that the first time I was going to speak in somebody else's conference cruise, I discovered very quickly, they talked about, and I cringed because I reposted one of the things that they posted about how all, their last cruise, all these vendors made all this money and all these speakers made all this money. And when I went back and looked at it, y'all, the only people that attended that conference, just like my little conference cruise, the only people that attended that conference cruise were the speakers and the vendors. And those speakers and vendors didn't make any money. And they positioned everybody like to make sure it looked good. And I'm not going to knock it. If you needed collateral and you were there, you got it. If you came to my little conference, right as the pandemic is starting and most of us didn't know about it yet, if you were at my little conference, you got some good collateral, and it was, and you spoke and you got your cabin for free, right? So, the people that came upgraded, so they didn't get their cabin for free, but they got the basic cabin covered for them. So, you want to make sure you're getting what you intended to get. Oh, JJ, you've been selected to come to Dubai and speak at our women's conference in Dubai. It's only going to cost you $20,000. You know what? If I want to go to Dubai and I want to speak on stage in Dubai and I want to pay $20,000 to do it, yay me, that's fine. But don't sit there and be upset about everybody else that you see. They're speaking in Paris. They're speaking in France. That is Paris, is France. They're speaking in Italy. They're speaking in Dubai. They're doing this and they're doing that. Anybody can. You want to speak internationally? Go on one of those things. Just make sure you know what you're getting. I had one reach out to me that was actually very reasonable cost. Like when I looked at the cost of what I would pay to put the trip together myself, I said, you know what? I'm going to do this. I'm going to go and I'm going to just relax for a couple of days and just have some me time without being mom for a little bit. And I didn't go because I ended up getting a paid engagement. And so I never did put the money. I never did put the money down to go, but it was reasonably cost. It was what I would have paid anyway to go on that trip. And what I'm saying about that is, unless they're giving you some good marketing, and you got to read between the lines. Okay. When they come out with, you'll have the opportunity to do this, and you'll have the opportunity to do that, and you'll have the option of this and the option of that. That means they're going to be charging you more and more money to get what you want. And you want to make sure that if you're going to pay to play, that the only one profiting isn't just the one who's selling you that speaking slot, because that's usually what happens. All right. And so when it comes to pay to play, you want to make sure you understand what you're getting, and you want to understand why you're doing it. I will absolutely pay to play if the conditions are right. And when are the conditions right? Here's when the conditions are right. Okay. Pay to play can be very profitable for you if it increases your experience and exposure. But remember, you can't pay rent with exposures. So it's not just about getting experience and exposure. If you need money, pay to play may not be the best way for you to make money. Okay. Because usually in a pay to play experience, you're not selling from the stage. Now, there are conferences that I speak at that charge me a split of what I sell from the stage, right? A 70-30 split, 60-40 split, right? but I'm not paying them to be on stage. And so you want to understand what you're getting. Now, I will if it's the right person, though, and that goes into the next of that list. Increases experience and exposure, gives you good video and photos that you can use in your marketing or to get other jobs. And this is the big one that gets me now, because I do have a lot of speaker collateral, but as I continue to lose weight, I'm always seeking more. So I mean, for all of these reasons, I might still pay to play. But the biggest thing for me right now is getting on the stage with higher caliber speakers and bigger names, right? So I had someone was walking me through marketing one time. And she's like, yeah, we have this website. And if you click here and you buy without going through our sales process, we know that you're an impulsive buyer. And I was like, that's not always true. Your website had Share the Stage with Les Brown and Dr. George Fraser. Those are two people I want to share the stage with. I paid my money for that. That $1,000 was an easy spend. That was on my list of things to do. They were on my list of people to share the stage with. It was easy peasy. I pay $1,000. I check those things off my vision board. Yay me, yay you. But that's something you've got to know. You've got to know what it is you want to do, and you've got to know why you're doing it. Okay. So pay to play is usually, in my experience, pay to play has been a scam. But it's not always a scam. Some of my favorite speaking engagements have been pay to play opportunities. Some of the connections that I've made, the opportunity to hobnob with the other higher level speakers and get photo and video from them. Y'all, I tell you what, I may not always get video for my podcast when I go to these things, but almost no one ever turns me down asking for a video for my son. And they say some of the nicest and most insightful and pouring into that boy things. And I'm like, it's gold. It's gold. Okay. All right. So that's about pay to play. Don't be afraid to pay for the opportunity if you have the money. Okay. Now, that leads me into the speaker's secret. The speaker's secret is why I still recommend you do things like having events, creating your own conferences if you need to, book signings where you get local people who speak to or write to come in and talk about it, getting on TV, getting on radio, sometimes paying to play, is because that helps you connect with other speakers. And what most professional speakers know that the average broke speaker doesn't know is that the key to success is your connections with other speakers, because the absolute best speaking engagements are when another highly paid speaker refers you to an organization. The highest paid speaking engagements I've ever had have come from another speaker who thought that I had what this conference planner needed, and they referred me by name. So that's why all of these strategies, you think, well, how is this going to help me make my first $1,000? It puts you in contact with people who can open up the doors from the inside. Too many of us, let me say this again, too many of us, especially women of color, we have fought so long. We have fought so long to get our seat at the table. Sometimes we've had to push people away to make room for us. Sometimes we've had to build our own table. Sometimes we've had to bring our own chair. Sometimes we've had to jump on the table and demand to be respected for what we bring to the table. We have been in that fight mode for so long that sometimes we don't even know what it's like to let somebody else open the door from the inside for us. We've had to knock down those doors, and we've had to demand to be respected, and we've had to tear down walls. But it's so much more profitable and so much easier when somebody on the inside opens up the door and says, come on in. And the only way you're going to get other speakers to refer you to conference planners is if you get to build relationships with other speakers who already have relationships with conference planners, and the conference planners trust those speakers, and now that speaker recommends you, and the conference planners like, open up the door and the windows, come on in. That's why it's so important for you to build relationships with other speakers. That's why it's so important when you have a speaking engagement. Don't just come for what you're doing and then leave. Show up early and stay late. Hobnob, get to know, network, whatever you call it. Get to know people who can open up doors for you, and look for ways you can open up doors for them. Now, there are two recommendations I'm going to give you on this point, and that is National Speaker Association and Black Speakers Network. I will go and just acknowledge up front, I don't have details for other speakers of other races and other things. I'm sure they're out there. They're needed, in this culture. They're needed when we have a certain standard of what people expect. You need something to help people who don't always fit into that demographic, right? But National Speaker Association has just been amazing in teaching me the business side of speaking. And my chapter, we have chapter members from all over the world who attend virtually. So we have a very large, it's like it's one, if it's not the largest, it's one of the largest National Speaker Association chapters in the country. It's like 140 people or something like that. And we have a very sizable virtual following. So you can join my chapter of National Speaker Association. I don't get any benefit from that, although it'd be nice if you let them know I sent you. I don't get, they don't give me no free membership or anything like that. But it's been very, very insightful, and you learn the business of speaking, because the business of speaking isn't just getting up and talking from your heart. The business of speaking is learning how to structure your talks, and it's learning how to market once you get there, how to be easy to work with, and things like that. Keeping current on the trends in the speaking world. And so National Speaker Association, speaker.org, and then blackspeakersnetwork.com. Okay. So because the best speaking engagements come as referrals from other speakers, you want to make sure you are easy to work with and that you're not afraid of pay to play. Not sure what happened on that slide there, but you're not afraid of pay to play. All right, y'all know what I'm about to do because that bothers me. Let me get back down here and fix that, because originally pay to play was after this. So maybe that's what happened. Pay to play. Okay, don't be afraid of pay to play as long as it meets your strategic goals. Okay. All righty. So now let's talk about what not to do. And let me tell you something. I have made all of these mistakes myself. So if you've made them, you are in good company. All right. But here's what's not to do as an emerging speaker. Okay. First of all, don't try and be who you aren't. We all want to be like this person or that person so we can have the following or the money or the power or the women or the men or the what, fill in the blank that somebody else has. But at the end of the day, there is somebody out there who is waiting for your voice. There are 8 million financial planners out there in the United States. But guess what? There is only one JJ Conway. There's only one JJ Conway, and there's only one JJ Conway who's been through $800,000 of debt, who's had all these car accidents and all these other things that happened in the military that caused me to create a wealth building strategy, really research how money works and break it down into a step-by-step process. There's only one of me. And guess what? Because there's only one of me, there are people out there that will not hear financial advice from anybody else. But when they hear my voice and they hear my story and they hear what I have to say and how I teach it, they're like, oh, I can do that. And guess what? I can't serve all 8 billion people on the earth, right? I can't serve all those people. And so some of the other 8 million financial planners out there can serve those people, right? There's somebody who is waiting for you to use your voice because your voice is what resonates with them. And when you use your voice, you're going to be able to speak to them about your expertise or about what's on your heart in a way that I'll never be able to do. And that's why when we working together, we can change lives. And working together, we can have an impact. Working together, we can do the thing and make money while we do it. All right. So don't try to be who you're not. Be you. Be you. Now, if you have to tone a thing down here and tone a thing down there, okay. Maybe you have to step up a little bit in your aggression or confidence game. Okay, but that's not changing who you are. That's just presenting yourself in a different way. In a more a way people are more receptive to. Okay, so that's a battle that I've had to fight over the last 5 years, and so I just want to say that again. Okay, some of us, we need to learn how to not. Some of us, we've had to learn how to not just call it like we see it all the time or be brutally honest all the time. Because in my military profession and as a financial planner, sometimes I got to be brutally honest because you're not gonna acknowledge it any other way, right? And that's a talent and a gifting. I get paid to tell people where they're messing up. And I love it. All right. But some of us, maybe we have to learn how to season our words with grace and season our words with salt. But that doesn't mean changing who we are. And some of us, we may need to learn how to be a little more aggressive on, applying for speaking engagements or advocating for the things that we want to get out of a speaking engagement when we're signing the speaker contract. But that's not changing who we are. That's simply learning how to better package ourselves and present ourselves in the format that the other people need to hear or see or experience in order to best be receptive to what it is we're trying to do. The next one I want to say is, please, sir, please, ma'am, don't steal somebody else's work. Now, look, ain't nothing new under the sun. There is nothing you can teach me that somebody else ain't taught 5 years ago, 20, 25 years ago, 30 years ago, 40 years ago. Now you might say, well, JJ, nobody 40 years ago knew how to use AI. Okay, nobody knew what AI was, but let me tell you what they did know. All the things we're teaching about AI back then, they were teaching about the internet. Okay, if you've ever read, let me pull it over here for you. This is my course, Authentic Abundance. This is a guided study of the science of getting rich by Wallace Wattles. And in this book, and also in Think and Grow Rich, he talks about, both of them, they talk about how the coming of age. And in his case, it was the airplane. The airplane was coming online. And the guy's like, well, you may not be able to make your money in the trains, but the airplane's coming online. It's going to change the industry. So apply these tactics that help the steel and the train moguls build their businesses. Apply it to the airplane. Okay. So we understand that there's just really nothing new under the sun. Okay. AI might be a new thing, but what we do with it and how we execute it, how we experience it as humans is the same way people have been executing and experiencing from the beginning of time. Okay. But that still doesn't mean you steal somebody's work. In fact, somebody who I really supported and I still support, and I just fell in love with this young woman. She was moving and shaking and doing great things, and I was just very proud of her. And it's funny because I met her thinking she was somebody else that I had known for a long time, who's much older, and they had the same name. And so as in the military, I move around a lot. I thought she had just moved to that town. And so then I met her for, I like bought tickets and forwarded all her. I sold people into this woman's conference. And when I got there, it wasn't the person I thought it was. And, but I got to know her and she was wonderful. But you know what she did? I taught a class and she went and took that course that I sold and did this exact same course. And so then when we had another class, she came and showed up to that class. And I said to everybody, I said, look, if you're going to take my content, at least change the name and make it yours. Change the stories and make them yours. Make it yours. Okay. Don't steal somebody else's work. Benchmark and attribute when necessary, but please don't steal somebody else's work. Don't take somebody else's bit. Everybody knows Dr. Cheryl's going to get up and she's going to talk about, the richest place in the world is the graveyard. Okay. You speaking in an audience of people that share, you speaking in an audience of Black Speakers Network or Dr. George Fraser Power Network or any of those kind of audiences that Dr. Cheryl speaks at. Don't you get up there and use her analogy and her opening quotes. Get your own. Now, look, you speaking to the Minnesota Chamber of who knows where. Hey, go for it. But be polite and be easy to work with, because your number one source of other speaking engagements is what? Who remembers? You can drop it in the chat or you can just tell me, oh, we didn't put on the phone. Oh, I keep forgetting. We did used to do the phone, but nobody was really signing on it. So anyway, by now you should have it in the chat. Other speakers. Okay. And so you don't want to burn bridges. You want to collaborate and you want to cooperate, not compete. All right. All right. Don't try to be everything to everyone. This is the hardest one for a lot of us because when we're getting started, a lot of us are chasing after money. And so if you're chasing after money, and you find that something over here is making money, well, it's really natural to want to go after that. And I'll give you an example. I'll give you an example in my life. Even when I started off, I was always on finances. In fact, my first blog was and Faith, Family, and Finances. Yeah, that was my first blog. JanineWiggins.com. And oh, I wonder if I still have that name. I don't know. I need to go look and see. But I probably do. Probably been paying for it for the last 15 years. I've been remarried, new name for almost 10 years now. Anyway, in that blog, I did a thing about when my big one was little. I did a thing about breastfeeding, and breastfeeding is really cool now. Like, everybody's doing it. There's all the ponchos and all the things. But when Philip was a baby, it was just starting to become a thing again, and it still was really frowned upon in a lot of places. And it wasn't as easy. They didn't have the pods and things at work. You had to kind of go in the bathroom and balance that out. It's kind of gross, but you did it anyway. And so I made a post about that. And all of a sudden I had this huge surge of likes and everything on my blog, because all these women were looking for information on breastfeeding. And so I'm looking at this like, oh, my traffic is up, and they're clicking my referral link. So that means my referral income is up, because that's how you make money with the blog. Don't anybody lie to you. That's how you make money with the blog, is through referral links. All right. My referral links are up. I'm making good money on this. So you know what I did for the next 2 months? I started talking about breastfeeding. I didn't start talking about breastfeeding in the context of faith, family, and finance. And if I had, it would have been in my lane. I went off on the deep end, doing the research, finding this and finding that. I mean, I was doing all these things. It had nothing to do with what I was doing. And then, of course, once the novelty of whatever my site was wore off, those clients went away. None of them ever hired me to be a financial planner. Why? Because they didn't come to me for that. So don't try to be everything to everyone. Figure out who you want to serve them. And then once you get that down pat, if you want to expand, do that. And then expand, do that. But you be everything to everybody, ain't nobody going to trust you. And I know I have that problem, because I'm a pastor. I'm a financial planner. I was a scientist in the Air Force for 20 something years. And so I have a whole training around being an empowered technical leader. You can go out to empoweredtechnicalleader.com. That's mine. And it doesn't look like me, but it's mine. And you can go out there, and you can you can see that I have all these talents. And back when I put all those talents in one place, I wasn't making money, because they're like, well, who is this? Because most people aren't that multi-talented. And when you display all your awesomeness, you think it shows how awesome you are. And all it does is make the person who's looking at that page feel like you don't know who you are or what you stand for. And that's what I was communicating when I had all these different things. So one of the early things I had to do 5 or 6 years ago was start splitting things out. Now, I don't ever not be a pastor. All right. In fact, I actually last year added to my podcast guest that you have to click and agree that I am in the ministry. I do a G-rated show, and I teach a debt-free lifestyle. And if you're going to come on my show, whatever you say needs to be consistent with those things, or you at least need to be respectful of those things, right? I don't think I put consistent. I think you have to be respectful. Otherwise, I'm not airing your stuff, because it's my show, right? And so you want to understand those kinds of interactions. You want to make sure you know who it is that you stand for, what it is you stand for, who it is you are, and whose you are, and then carry yourself accordingly. There's plenty of money out there for everybody. All right. So here's another thing not to do. Please, sir, please, ma'am, please, please, please. If you want to make money speaking for a living, or if you want to make money speaking on the side, if you want to make money with speaking, let me say this into the camera. If you want to make money with speaking, please do not. Can I say it enough times? Do not speak from the heart. I'm going to need you to do better than that and actually practice. But JJ, if I practice, it'll feel forced. It'll feel stilted. No, if you practice that story so many times that it gets bred into every cell of your being, that gives you the latitude to move in time and space and adjust to your audience, deliver what's needed to the audience without you having to think it. You know, somebody asked Leonardo DiCaprio how he did so well in speaking in acting, and what's the number one thing he recommends that new actors learn to do. And he said the very first thing a new actor needs to learn how to do is learn the lines, learn the script, and memorize the script. And so we think, oh well, if I do that, it's still. But I promise you, if you feel like practicing is chaining you and handcuffing you, then you know you haven't practiced enough. You got to practice saying that thing so many times that you can recite it in your sleep. You can recite it in washing the dishes. You know, you can be in the middle of a football game and you can be like, what's a good story? What's a good reference that goes along with that crazy play? Blah, 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 blah. Back when I was. Mm-hmm. So please, 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 if you want to make money speaking, practice. All right. Remember, when we're speaking for profit, what we want to say doesn't matter. What actually matters is what the audience needs to hear. And only by getting in front of audiences and practicing our content so that we can be in the moment with our audiences are we ever going to know if what we have to say is what people want to hear. I always crack up. StreamYard shows me the little counter in the side, and it shows me how many people are on. It doesn't show me who. It shows me how many people are on, and it shows me when people drop off. And I can tell when I have delivered an unpopular opinion because I lose like half of my viewers. And I can tell when people really, really like something because they forward it, they share it, they tag their friends in it, right? But you can tell some of these things. But if you don't know your content so well that you can pay attention to all those external cues, you're not going to know if you are delivering what the conference planner brought you in to deliver. What you want to say is not the important part. It's what the audience needs to hear. All right, all right. Now, with all of that, you know I was going to give you an opportunity. I don't see any questions in the chat, so if you have a question, go ahead and put it in there. But you knew I was going to give you an opportunity to take what we've talked about today and dig a little deeper into it. So if that is something that you are interested in doing, this Speaker Incubator workshop, I shouldn't call it a workshop. It's a one-on-one session between me and you. And in that 2-hour block, we are going to work on the outline for your keynote. Now, I'm not going to flesh out everything in your keynote because if you wanted to do that, that costs a lot more. You know, that's more of a $3,000 to $5,000 thing where we talk it through and I give you a script that you can use after we're done talking it through, right? But we're not going to have the time and the money to do that in this session. This is just a $99 session that really should be $499, but I'm discounting it for y'all because I want you to take advantage of it. All right. I want you to do better in your speaking and actually make money, you know. And then once you start pulling in $20,000 a month, you can throw a few bucks my way and sponsor the next speaker coming along, right? And pay it forward. But what we're going to do in this is we're going to look at developing the outline for your keynote. We're actually going to develop some video and audio. Now, when you sign up for this, you're going to have the opportunity to choose video or audio. So you can either dial in on the phone or you can choose video. If you dial in on the phone, I can't make you video. What I can do is take your audio and overlap it with some nice looking stock video and photos from Pixabay or some other royalty-free site. I can do that for you. But if you don't come camera ready with your hair done and your face on, I'm not going to be able to give you video, all right, of you. But if you do come, however you come, even if it's just audio, you are going to walk away with 3 or 4 different marketing pieces, maybe even more, depending on how far we get, marketing pieces that are already going to be done. Because guess what? Part of me showing you how to do all this is going to be to take something that we talk about, edit it on real time, captured on the screen so you'll know how to edit it, how to make your landscape videos, a quick one for a quick portrait one, so you can put shorts on YouTube. You get the long one and the shorts and the TikTok and all the things that use the long, we're going to show you how to do all that stuff, and I'm going to show you real time so you can take that video and have it for the rest of your life. That's right. You'll be able to download that video of me and you working on this for the rest of your life. You will have access to it. Now you better download it, because you come back to me 3 years from now, I'm not going to have it. Zoom is going to be like, yeah, you need to clean out some of that old stuff. All right. So make sure you download it. But you can, that's the point that I'm trying to make. That's the point I'm trying to make. You can actually download it, whereas other people are like, well, you can have lifetime access, but it's through this speaker portal that may not be available next year, right? We're going to practice your pitch. We're actually going to practice going through and applying for speaking engagements. And I promise you, it's nowhere near as hard as I used to make it. I used to do hours of prep for each one, and I used to put all this details and stuff in there. And once I figured out what these people who are paying speakers, what they really wanted, I was able to narrow it down and make a quick pitch that gets results. And I'm going to show you how to do exactly the same. Then what we're going to do is once we develop the stuff, okay? Once we develop the stuff, so you have a keynote to deliver and you have marketing and video and audio to help try to get that keynote sold, right? We're going to create that speaker action plan to show you what your next steps are. And the next steps are going to be the sell from the stage strategies. What the sell from the stage strategies, like I said in the beginning, is going to be dependent on your personality, your health, your job situation, all the things. You're a single mom working 3 jobs. It doesn't help me to tell you get up 2 hours early. That's not going to help you. You work in a secure environment. Me telling you to go to your car and conduct classes, or take business calls and route them to your phone. That's not going to help you. You don't have your phone. So what do you do when you don't have your phone? Well, guess what? I built a 6-figure business when I worked in a secure environment and I couldn't have my phone. I share with you those strategies. But this is why it's that customized things, the things that you need to do. I guarantee you, either I've been through it as a speaker, or I know somebody who has. And so either way, we will find a way to solve the problems you have that block you from speaking, so that you can go forward and make the money that you've been working so hard for. So we're gonna go through each of these strategies. We're gonna take all these different things into consideration. I say it again, we're going to go through all these sell the stage strategies. We're going to select the ones that work best for your personality, your health, whatever kind of job situation you have, what kind of family situation you have, what kind of injuries you might be working through. We're going to customize that for you, so it's something that you can absolutely accomplish. See, some of us today have been getting frustrated because everybody else seems to be outpacing us, and we don't feel like we have the health and strength or the emotions to handle and do what it is we need to do. Well, their path is for them and your path is for you. Let me say that again. Their path is for them. Your path is for you. So we find out what works for you, and we implement what works for you. And we don't worry about what doesn't work for you, because we're going to spend our time on what does work for you, so you can be profitable in what does work for you, and you don't have to worry anymore about what doesn't work for you, because what works for you will work for you if you work for it. All right. Woo, that was good. I should have wrote that down. All right. So again, this is a $499 value for just $99, and you can go to jjclink.com/speak and you can book that. That should take you to Calendly. I think the full name of that link is calendly.com/jjconway/speaker-incubator. I know that's super long, but if you type in jjclink.com/speak, it should take you right there. You fill out some questions, you book the time whenever works for you. It's not a set thing. Now, some of y'all may have noticed, I do a mix. Sometimes I have a workshop that's scheduled, And I have a group of people come in at one time, and other times it's a one-on-one customized, done with you kind of thing. And then you can pick the time that works best for you. You pay your money, it gets locked out on my calendar, and then we work for you, and then you implement and you start to make the money, honey. I'm so excited for the good that's going to come out of what you're going to do when you learn how to make your money. So I hope you have enjoyed this how to make your first $1,000 as a speaker. I hope that you have enjoyed how to make your first $1,000 as a speaker. I've enjoyed sharing with you these strategies. Make sure you get your slot today. The slots are very limited. There's not that much availability on my calendar. And because of the intense nature of these sessions, I don't take but one a day. Okay. And in fact, there's some weeks where I only take one a week because of the other heavy stuff that I might be doing. All right. So you go out there, jjclink.com/speak, and you can book that. Well, that's all I've got for you today. If you've got any questions, hurry up and drop them in the chat. Otherwise, I'm just going to close out with a couple of announcements. Again, if you want to be a part of the Juneteenth Voices of Legacy, I realize Juneteenth is past, but we had an excellent we had an excellent author showcase. Everybody was really excited about the book coming, and so we're going to still publish it. Those authors that already signed up, and if you sign up today, you will not only participate in the 2024 that we're kind of playing catch up on, but you will also be included at no additional charge in the 2025. So that's a really nice blessing. All right. And you will get, those of you who have already paid to be part of the 2024, you will be upgraded into a contributing author status on Amazon for the 2025. If you already paid for contributing author on Amazon for 2024, then you will be upgraded to the co-author status, which means you get that $2,000 upgrade that puts your name on the front cover. Ooh, y'all, it's going to be so good. All right. So if you haven't jumped in on that, go ahead and jump in on that now. Select your package and you'll be able to participate in the 2024 as well as the 2025. And the 2025 will be done before Juneteenth here in Dallas. So it will be. Well, we're going to make sure of that. All right. Other announcements I have, I'm going to be down in Orlando for the John Maxwell International Maxwell Certification. And then I'm going to be back up in Greensboro, North Carolina. My son survived band camp, and he's got one more week to go of band camp, and he'll be officially a member of the greatest band on earth. And we'll be moving him into his permanent freshman dorm so he can start classes. And while I'm there, I'm going to look for venues to teach some community classes so that I can get a feel for this community that I'm going to be a part of now that I'm going to be going out there more often just to help support him. I say that, but all the other moms warn me that he's going to develop his life and he ain't going to need his mama out there all the time. So we'll see about that. I may not, but I may. So while I'm there, I might as well research. All right. Okay. Any other announcements I have? Oh, yes. In September, I will be in Grand Rapids, Michigan. I believe it is the 15th or the 14th through the 17th. Whatever that third weekend is, I'm going to be in Grand Rapids, Michigan with Gina Mead. Some of y'all might remember she and I were we were finalists for Miss Veteran America together in 2014. And this is her third year doing a veterans retreat. So if you can get yourself to Grand Rapids, Michigan, that third weekend in September, look on Facebook for Gina Mead. She will be able to point you in the right direction to get you registered and everything. And it is really going to be a wonderful time. And then in October, I want to invite you to FinCon as well as to All Black National Conference. And if you are anywhere near North Carolina A&T, all right, the tailgate tickets are sold out, and the football game tickets are sold. That football tickets sold out in 4-5 hours. No, that's not true. Somebody said they were sold out in 4 hours, but I actually stayed up till midnight so I could get mine. So they sold out in like 8 hours because by like 8 or 9 in the morning, y'all, they were gone. But that doesn't mean you can't come still hang out and fellowship and love on my son, because one of the things he reminded me is, Mom, when we're done with the football game, you can take me off campus and take me to do. In other words, I can take him shopping and to eat. So you are welcome to come see me in October. I think that's the 19th or 20th. The greatest homecoming on earth. You'll see me wearing another one of those sparkly North Carolina A&T outfits that I'm a little uncomfortable in, but I'm gonna wear it anyway. And I think that's all the announcements I have. I don't see any questions, so I'm gonna go ahead and sign off for tonight. But I want to thank y'all for being on with me today and helping me knock a little bit of the rust off. I don't think I've taught a class like this since May. And so it was a blessing. You know, it's a blessing to have a business that allows you to take that much time off and still make money, right? Like it's a total blessing to have a business that allows me to do that. That's why I built the business that I built. That's why the speaking business can be so lucrative, because I had 3 or 4 speaking engagements in all of that travel, and we built our travel around my speaking engagements. But I didn't have to be chained to an office or chained to a computer to do the things that I needed to and wanted to do. So give you that, let you leave with that. Y'all have a good night. Take care and be blessed.